What's up, fam? It's your boy Bentuan, and welcome to BBlock. On today's show, we're going to be covering Viking Swap. This is the next evolution of DeFi on Binance Smart Chain, and if you loved Goose Finance, you're going to absolutely love Viking Swap. Viking Swap is a fork of the Goose DeFi protocol and is mimicking a lot of the same blueprint mechanisms that they installed in Goose Finance. So if you loved Goose Finance, you're going to like, if not love, Viking Swap even more. I know you're probably thinking, this guy is King Shillington of Shillland, but I make these videos because I believe in educating and bringing new information to the masses to educate people about DeFi. And I believe in a lot of the fundamentals that are happening right now on Binance Smart Chain. Goose Finance made an awesome blueprint that's already being forked by other projects. Viking Swap happens to be one of those projects who mimicked and took that same concept and is making things slightly better. Stay tuned to find out how Viking Swap is adding another wrinkle to the DeFi game. All right, fam. So here we are again. We find ourselves back in the DeFi zone. So this is Viking Swap. Very familiar layout. It's very pancake-esque, very Goose Finance-esque. You are navigating through a lot of the same mechanisms as you do on a lot of these other swaps on Binance Smart Chain. So just to give you a quick overview, you have your farms and you have your armory, same things as the farms and nests on Goose Finance. Super high APYs. Let's take a look. So I want to also clarify something because I think a lot of people get this mixed up. Is APRs versus APYs. This is where you're getting your APYs. These are daily returns, 12.3%. That is absolutely stratospheric when it comes to returns. This is nice to look at so you can understand what's working for your investments, because I know a lot of these new projects are all experimental. Please keep in mind, none of this is financial advice. This is all extremely risky stuff, but the fundamentals behind this stuff is a lot better than what we had in DeFi summer, which makes me very optimistic and makes me willing to look at things a little bit more. So that's why I looked into Viking Swap. Quick shout out to Reddit user here. Jay Carl turned me on to this thing on my Goose Finance post on Reddit. He mentioned to me a few things and had shouted out Viking Swap. I was like, all right, I'm gonna look into Viking Swap. Since then, I have talked to Viking Swap's team on Telegram. They've been super responsive and giving me a lot of information in regards to the direction they're going, what they're doing, and where they're heading, which is really cool to see because you can get access to these dev teams and understand what's happening in their space. This is 3 days old. They just launched 3 days ago. These APYs are probably what you saw at the beginning of Goose Finance. So if you're looking to get in early, now is the time. And these APYs, as we saw with Goose Finance, have gone down over the past week and a half since a lot of people have gone in there. They've gone from like 30 million total value locked to now almost like 140 million TVL. So it's like crazy to see the growth on some of these projects in just a short time span. I think Viking Swap is going to be right behind Goose Finance, and I'm going to show you why. So let's get into some of their documents here. So this is coming right from the Viking Swap Git book. So quick intro here. Viking Swap is the next generation AMM, decentralized exchange with deflationary governance token model, same as Goose Finance. They want to create a perpetual deflation token, the Viking. So instead of eggs, we're talking Vikings with a continual burn mechanism in order to field an environment that can sustain long-term gains with consistent high APRs for greater earnings. Almost the same exact as Goose Finance, slightly different burning mechanisms though, and we're going to go into this now. So 80% of the burn fee will be used to buy back Viking and burn it. 10% will be sent to the developer's address. 10% will be held in escrow for Viking Swap for future projects. This is slightly different than the mechanism we saw in Goose Finance. I want to highlight this next section, this blue section, very, very important. They're in the process of introducing unique Viking NFTs as a further means in which Viking will be burned so as to keep the value high. This is the wrinkle that Goose Finance does not have yet. Goose Finance seemed like they're a little bit more focused on this layered farms where you're making these new layers with these high APYs where you can farm, I believe it's BNB instead of egg. That should incentivize a lot of people to keep joining into the ecosystem with these high APRs. That's super awesome. But I think the next wrinkle in evolution will be adding in NFTs. We're hearing a lot of buzz about NFTs just from normies. You're hearing Gary Vee talk about NFTs. I think that NFTs in the foreseeable future will be a huge aspect inside of DeFi, even if you can stake these NFTs inside of this protocol. That would be freaking awesome. So I'm super excited for that evolution. The time lock added contract at launch and the remover of the migrator code. This is the same as Goose Finance. So this is a fork. And just keep in mind, Goose Finance did get audited and everything came back ship shape. So if they forked Goose Finance's code, this theoretically shouldn't really have any issues until they start to add in other stuff. Viking NFT. So warriors will have the option to trade in their Viking tokens for an NFT representing a randomly generated Viking fighter token, the VFT. Currently, these VFTs will come in 3 rarities: common, rare, and epic, with potential further levels to be introduced later down the line. So for those of you who are gamers, like, this is your dream come true here. So if you're familiar with like FIFA, where you earn the ultimate cards and, oh my gosh, he's a legendary player, I got Cristiano Ronaldo 99s across the board. Like, this is kind of like what they're introducing. So they're creating this new marketplace for NFTs. I'm envisioning them probably going to create some sort of staking mechanism where if you get these super rare NFTs, you're gonna be able to stake them and earn Vikings, is what it sounds like they're going to be doing with these NFTs. So quick scroll through so you guys can kind of see what these are. We're also going to highlight, we're putting in plans in place for warriors to be able to trade your VFTs on a secondary market, like I just mentioned. Additionally, our developers are working on a method in which your VFTs will actually help you generate additional Vikings. This is that staking I'm talking about. So I think once you're able to stake VFTs/NFTs, that's going to be a game changer. Overall, this creates an additional burn mechanism to our ecosystem that not only adds real world value to our warriors, but also keeps the value of Vikings soaring to Valhalla. So one of the quick notes that I do want to make, and the reason why I am big on Viking Swap, and I'm also big on Goose Finance, is Goose Finance is doing some things with their buybacks, which I don't think they were very transparent about. And what they're doing is, from my understanding, yet to be 100% confirmed, but I have talked to a couple people about this, is that when they are buying back their tokens, they are reselling some of these tokens on the open market. So that supply is a little bit artificial because they are doing these buybacks and they are reselling some of these tokens, from my understanding. And that's one of the things that is a little bit concerning, because with the buybacks and burns, I don't think they're going to be able to keep that up in the long term. So they're either going to have to stop doing that, which will push the price of eggs higher, or they're going to absolutely tank the price. I believe in Goose Finance. I'm not saying to bail on Goose Finance. It just was a little bit of a concern to me. And if anyone wants to leave comments below clarifying this, please do so. I'm not trying to shit on Goose Finance. It just gave me pause, and I'm trying to understand more information. Viking Finance is not doing that yet. Now, this project launched 3 days ago. I have been in talks with some of their dev team members, and they told me this is something that they're looking at. And I think that they have been ultra transparent. Not that Goose Finance wasn't, but it seems like they're taking a little bit different approach to how they're going to be handling the buybacks and what that will be used for. I understand dev teams need to get paid and rewarded for their projects. I'm not saying that dev teams shouldn't take rewards. I'm just saying there needs to be a lot more transparency about how that's being spent, whether that means a DAO to be able to transparently disseminate that information to the community, or just creating a treasury and a balance sheet just showing the community what things are being spent on, because they need to know that. And this space is already risky as is, so there needs to be complete transparency. So I ask that of any dev teams that are watching this. But hats off though to Goose Finance and Viking Swap. Viking Swap is seeming to take a little bit different of a direction with how they want to do things, especially implementing in this NFT. I'm super excited about it. While we're on the topics of NFTs, I want to give you a quick preview here. This is what they're trying to do, is create these NFTs, these common, rare, and epic. So you can kind of see some of the sketches they've drawn up. They are not as focused on this layered farming mechanism, which is a little bit interesting. It seems like the way they want to approach this is by implementing in these NFTs as opposed to the layered farming first, which Goose Finance was implementing right away. And who knows, Goose Finance could start implementing NFTs down the line, but it wasn't really expressed in their roadmap. It's very similar to Goose Finance, and I think Goose Finance did an awesome job. I'm super stoked to see what's going to happen with Viking Swap next. It's only 3 days old, And right now you can get in and earn these super high APYs. And I'm very confident that this project has a lot of fundamentals behind it that is going to push it to the next level. And I really, really hope that Viking Swap can succeed. I appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you guys like what you saw, give me some thumbs up. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and leave some comments. I'm trying to always stay active in the comment section to answer any kind of questions I can and learn from other community members that may know more about this than I do. So feel free to chime in, leave your comments. I appreciate you guys. Until next time, deuces.